This is a message that I've put together over the last couple of days. I've read several articles and other excerpts from Bob Costas, his review on gun control issues and things like that. But one caught my attention, which was posted via Twitter by Piers Morgan, which is supposedly a journalist. I call him an opinionist because basically that's all we're getting from the anti-gunners these days are their opinions. They absolutely know nothing most of the time of what they're talking about, or either they're doing a good job of covering things up. But let me get straight to the point here because I don't want to drag this out. Piers Morgan wrote in a Twitter message that the Second Amendment was devised with muskets in mind, not high-powered handguns and assault rifles. Fact. Now that was a direct quote. Then Ms. Roth comes back, obviously a great Second Amendment supporter, and her comment was, it was devised for people to be able to protect themselves with the same type of weaponry used by those from whom they might need protection. Piers Morgan again fires back, where exactly does it say that in the Constitution? I must have missed it. Ms. Roth, with her reply, says right next to the word musket. That was great. But let me go a step deeper here. And just so you know, I am involved with gun rights activities here in the state that I live in. I do a lot of things concerning that. We work with the legislature. We're trying to get laws changed and updated. But here's my thought, and this goes directly to people like Piers Morgan and others of the anti-gun frame of mind here. Mr. Morgan pointed out that it was talking about muskets. And I've heard from others, the Second Amendment was talking about what they had in their time. That they couldn't foresee us having, M4 carbines and a 44 Magnum pistol and all this kind of thing. So using that same mindset, I'm going to apply it to what Mr. Morgan and all the others really keep close to their heart, and that's the First Amendment. Now, if I go with the same mindset and apply it to the First Amendment, this is how it turns out. The First Amendment, if we're saying that they couldn't foresee things in the future and how they changed, so they were only talking about how they had life, what was going on in their world right then. They couldn't see past that. So that's what they had to mean. Well, Mr. Morgan and others, back then, all they had was a hand-operated printing press. They didn't have cable TV. They didn't have internet. They didn't have radio. So using your logic, your First Amendment rights only goes so far as using a hand-operated printing press, which then would make you cease from using radio, TV, and the internet as your propaganda platform, because you're not covered. You're not covered by the First Amendment. You don't have the right to say that, because when they wrote that document, they was talking about a hand-operated printing press. You see, this works both ways. And just because you don't like something, it doesn't mean that you have a right to push your opinion like that on others. If you don't want a gun, guess what? Don't buy a gun. But I choose to be able to protect myself my family, and my property. It's my God-given right. And on that same note, I want somebody to explain to me then, if guns are so evil, right? How did axe murderers get their name? If I remember correctly, and I believe I have this right, Cain killed Abel with a stone. You see, anti-gunners, this is where you miss the boat. It is not what the object is that the person uses. It is the person. It's simple. It's the person that does it. If you cannot grasp that concept, maybe you're not as smart as you think you are. Support the Second Amendment. It was given to us in our Bill of Rights, Constitution. It says we the people have a right to keep and bear arms in defense of ourselves, our state, and this great nation. Thanks for watching.